Hello guys, welcome back. Either my equipment's getting goofy or I'm doing stuff and just not remembering it, but yeah, welcome back. So that park was fun, and I prayed to the gods that if they let me not die and they help me out, I would willingly forgo all my wondrous plans because we're all humans, it's 2020, and we all still want to do the stuff we want to do. I'd planned on buying the park, which obviously was a no-go. If I didn't buy the park, I planned on buying two other games that were about a third of the cost together. And I also planned on buying a pizza and such today. And I promised them, I said, if you just help me, if you help me calm my jets down, I'll make something. So I'm making the gods chili. And they're all happy. And I made garlic bread yesterday before, so we're having, garlic bread and we're having that. You know the mix you get. Anyhow, I got in a dream this morning, and I've never recognized this god because I'm simple-minded. And he didn't want to be recognized. And, he's one of those gods that he can have one line, I almost said one line of code, one line in the lore, and you're supposed to extrapolate everything that entails, and you have no idea what it means, and he just sits there and he smiles at you. And I'm watching it, I'm standing in a black void, and I'm watching this, like watching it on a screen. And there's this old man, extremely old man, looks like he shouldn't even be able to move, and he's wearing these brown corduroy slacks and these kind of beat up old, look like hiking boots. You're all like, oh shit. And a kind of checkered outdoor lumberjacky shirt, and he's got this extremely short crop silver gold hair. I mean, it's so short. And I've always been confused because I'm like, well, it looks like a Roman military hairstyle. That's the first thing I would think about because I've always liked, studying about war and everything. I know. And he has these bright blue eyes. And he's in this thing, he's taking care of animals. He's kind of this caretaker that goes into a vet. And I know for some reason it's kind of a stylized version of my yard outside, and yet it's not. It's near a woods, and yet it's not. Go with me on this. And he's taking care of the dogs, and this narrator's telling you he loves all the animals. He's the caretaker, and he's making sure I see that he's playing with the golden retriever, and he opens the door, and he, is petting them and everything, and he's petting cats and everything, and he really does truly love the animals. And it's kind of like I'm getting to hear about the Lord of Animal aspect. Okay. And then it says that, he checks on these animals and he's going to go away. It's like kind of fall time and he's going to go away for a while. He has something to go do. And there's this kind of drain in the floor, like you would see, in some offices and that, like a metal grating in the floor. And I was confused because I'm like, well, that's more like you would have in, say a morgue is what it reminded me of. But he lifts up his metal drain, and they're kind of explaining because it's near the woods, but also because something that a lot of mice get in. And the mice are running back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and they don't look like regular mice. They look like, I don't know. But the ones that just go about their business and don't come in and don't try to come in and bother the animals, he leaves them alone. But there are some, every so often, that are aggressive, and they say the ones that are aggressive towards him, and they know he's his god, by the way, he gets rid of them. Now, he can't put out poison because, this is a place to take care of animals, and if a mouse eats that poison and then gets eaten by an animal, the animal will get really sick. So he takes care of them. He has a pair of bone cutting shears that you have in a kitchen, like if you want to cut bones. They're like, they go out and then they go at almost like an 80 or 90-degree angle, and that's what you use to cut bone in a kitchen, well, among other things. And he dispatches the ones that are a problem. And it's like, as he dispatches them, they're just gone. You don't get to see anything on camera, thankfully. And they said that once he's sure that that problem's taken care of, he puts a grate back, he kinda looks around, and there was on this desk an offering of 2 jelly-filled powdered donuts and a cup of coffee. And, okay, I'm already getting my guts mixed up. And I thought about it, and I said, "This is the second dream I've had about a guy killing mice specifically." And at first I took it literally because I do live near the woods, and then I'm like, what would this be?" And I asked the god in question, I said, "Are you calling other gods vermin, or are you calling humans vermin? What are you saying?" And he just kind of tilted his head at me. This is one of his mysteries for me to figure out. I said, "I know you're a lord of animals, but what am I supposed to get from this?" And he just kind of looked at me like I should already know. It's obvious if I think about it, if I just sit down and I think about it. I could get it days, weeks from now. I could never get it, but it's something about it's part of a sacred duty. I don't know if he means because he's a god that holds life and death in his hands. He just doesn't like mice. I don't know. You never know. And it's like this is probably not the strangest dream he's given me. And I asked Loki, I said, "Well, this is your friend. Would you please explain this dream?" And one of you'd already guessed who this is. And he went, "Hmm." I said, "Does he not like mice, or does he not like a specific god I can think of related to mice?" I don't know. And it was just strange, but I don't think it was like a warning. It was like just this was some kind of metaphor for he's a lord of the animals, but now he has to go away because winter's coming and he'll be busy. And it was set in the fall, and he had taken care of the rodent problem, and he was satisfied with himself. And he was really intense because you can tell this is a death deity, in the dream. Only a death deity carries around shears and goes snip, snip. And, like he's giggling back here. And, I looked at Loki and I said, he actually is insane, isn't he? He's like, "Oh, yes." And, said deity, I asked him today as I was doing different things and I've been like, trying to recoup from a terrible game. I said, I kind of almost think that you're telling me something I'm not going to get for months or years. And he's kind of looking at me. And I said, I swear it must have been your siren song that called me to that park just to give me an experience that I'll never forget. He kind of smiled at me. He didn't say a word and he walked off. And I'm like, why? But that would be him. And it was kind of like, let's see what you're made of. I'm going to make this the most damn irresistible thing because really the graphics weren't that great in this game. It was really terrible. The moment I got in it, I knew I should leave. But as horrible an experience as it was, I went through 10 minutes of it because I was so goddamn curious. I had to see. I had to see. It's people who play video games do this. We're all like that. And I had to go back in and I had to see more. And the funny thing is, I gave him a computer last night in his temple, this friend of Loki. Look, he's back here smiling. And there's this source about gifts from this god, and there's this poetry about coding. And I'm like, that's interesting because I had seen a reference to this gentleman encoding before, and the internet's a wealth of knowledge. A lot of it's shit, to be honest, but there's a lot of knowledge on the internet. I'm getting back here. um and it was kind of like, I don't know if that's because it's in one book that I had at one time on him, that one person said it, so everybody makes the association now, or it's a known thing. So it was interesting, but I've always felt compelled to give him computers and libraries. So most of you know who it is, but I'm just waiting to see if anybody else chimes in. And this was just, it was interesting. It was like he will take care of things. And I looked at Loki and I said, he doesn't look anything like I would expect him to look. And he said, "Well, why would he do that for you?" I said, "What?" And he said, "Why would he appear as what you would think he looks like? Why would he appear? He's trying to teach you something." This has been the one that's been appearing in my dreams for years, and he's always an older man, and he always has this extremely short cropped hair that I mistake for a Roman haircut, military style haircut all the time because it's so short you can't grab it. That's the point. That's why Roman soldiers shave their hair shave their hair like that. That's why soldiers do it today. You want hair short enough that if you're in battle, your enemy can't grab it. And look, he's like, you know way too much about war. So, you know. Um he has that kind of military haircut. He does have a beard, but it's extremely short and cropped too. There'd be no way to grab this beard to grab it in a fight. And that should tell me something. And what really threw me off were the blue eyes. They're the kind of eyes your grandfather has. The grandfather, the mythical grandfather that loves you and adores you and wants to bake you cookies and everything like this. And you know, he's killing, dispatching whatever the mice were a metaphor for right in front of you. Um and it's like, see, this is the gift I'm giving you. And I actually felt loved. I felt loved. I'm like, this is how he shows love. It's the kind of god he is. He's a death deity. I don't know if it was a metaphor for the world, it was just a dream, or, you know, what was going on, but I keep asking him and he won't tell me. And I'm like, there's nothing about mice in your lore that I ever remember, but you know, we don't have most of his lore, so really doesn't like mice. So I don't know. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. I am going to go have a bowl of chili with the gods, and I will see you guys later. Bye bye.